Welcome back on the Sports Cage. Pleased to be joined by the head coach of the University of Saskatchewan Huskies, Scott Flory. 60th Vanier Cup will be played on the turf at Mosaic Stadium tomorrow afternoon. Your team arrived yesterday. To me, they look dialed in and focused. What's the sense that you're getting from your group?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think when you look at really what, from college athletics, of the veteran leadership that we've got some outstanding 22-year-old young men that have been around, that have been with this team for a long time. They've been through some heartache here in 21 and 22, and they were young guys then, impact guys, but young guys then. I mean, I'm talking about the Seth Hundebys and the Riker Franks and the Daniel Weebs and the John Stolls. But there's a different level of focus to this group. There's an edge to it. We don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, but we know we're going to play our butts off.
You mentioned the edge. Does the edge also translate perhaps into a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that to me, not that there isn't validity in things like that. I think it's we're more that's a pretty short-term thing. And I used to have back. Getting some open book stuff here, Dave. So back in the day, I used to have a long conversations with some like old coaches. So one guy in particular comes to mind is Vince Martino. He was an offensive line coach of mine back in 2012. He was an outstanding man. He was a longtime head coach in the NFL Europe and all that kind of stuff. And we'd just sit and talk. And he always, and I firmly believe he always said that kind of us against the world, chip on your shoulder stuff. It's not. It can sometimes come and go. It can fade. What we try to do here is establish long time, love and respect and honor the game and just the program. So, when we talk about recruit, retain, and develop in college athletics, we've only got them for 5 years, sometimes a little bit longer if they don't consume eligibility. But that's what we try to do. We try to ingrain the passion for this team, the program, the province, and, because at the end of the day, when it's coming down to 3rd and 1, that's a want to. And we got to make sure that we've got the right attitude and the guys are willing to sacrifice for the guy beside them. And that's what we're trying to do and to build and to grow.
Scott Flory is the head coach of the University of Saskatchewan Huskies. His team plays Montreal tomorrow in the 60th Vanier Cup. Coach, when this game is being played in Regina, just down the road from Griffith Stadium, is that an advantage or is that a disadvantage?
I don't know. I mean, it's a neutral site game. I mean, it's not our home, but it's our home province, but it's not our home city. I mean, literally, Dave, I just got I just went for a run around the house where I grew up in my old elementary school and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of familiarity here. We've got a lot of guys that are from Regina. I think at the end of the day, I think Saskatchewan fans are going to cheer for Saskatchewan people. And I hope that the place is packed and that they're cheering for us. If that's not the case, I don't think it will be, but we're going to go and play our butts off regardless. I mean, we often say, and I don't say it jokingly. I said anywhere, anytime, anyhow. We'll play in a Walmart parking lot if we need to. That's where they schedule the game. We'll show up and we'll be ready to go.
So playing in Regina, and maybe is it harder to block out some of the distractions? I know there's a lot of time, like guys from radio stations in Regina calling the head coach saying, "Hey, you play again tomorrow," but taking you away from your prep.
No, and I always got time for you, Dave, just so you know that. But I think that, regardless of the storm or the weather around you, it's whether or not you can stay focused on the road ahead. And that's really what it comes down to. There's always the distractions. There's life, there's hoopla. And obviously when you get into a national championship, there's going to be draws of media and the banquets and things like that, that are going to pull away. But it's all a matter of how quickly or how well can you stay focused or refocus back on the task at hand. And that's really what we focus on here with our guys.
You mentioned the banquet. The President's Trophy Award winner is your linebacker, Seth Hundeby, the top defensive player in the nation. We see what he does on the field, but he looks like an entirely different person off the field, too, and what he's able to accomplish and inspire his teammates to do.
Yeah, Seth is a unique human. He is just fantastic. I was talking with his parents last night, and he's the one recruiting visit that I walked to because we're borderline neighbors. He lives a couple blocks away. So he's a special young man. I mean, he's nobody can look and move like him at 6'3", 6'4", 245 pounds, and the way he runs and moves and how physical he is. And then you talk about the man that he is. I mean, a leader, and he's an a high achieving engineering student. The world's his oyster, and our guys just buy into him, and he's just such a good guy. He's always so positive, and he just loves everything. And it's fantastic. You can't help but be around him and just smile and have joy.
He was drafted by the Saskatchewan Roughriders after telling teams at the CFL Combine that no matter what happens, he's going back to school. What does that say about him? And the conversation I had with him yesterday, I asked, is there any hindsight saying, I could have won a Grey Cup potentially with the Saskatchewan Roughriders this year. Instead, I'm competing for a Vanier Cup.
Yeah, no, to me, it was the right move. I mean, we talked a lot last spring. His path isn't dissimilar to, what I had to go through. Same thing. I had to come back, finish the degree. Engineering, you can't do online, and you got to do it, and you got to finish it. And he made the right move. And no regrets. Like, he's going to have a long CFL career. He's a special young man. I remember talking to J.O. back in the spring, and with him and Daniel, I'm like, you got two special ones there. I don't care what round you get them in. Guys will separate, and they will separate, and they will have long careers, and they're just outstanding young men.
Charlie Parks is giddy at the fact that he gets to play at home, if you will, at Mosaic Stadium for the Regina Native. But the one thing that stood out to me, I said, how are you doing this thing back-to-back weeks preparing for an opponent that you don't know very well? And he said, this is nothing. We had a taste of that in week 1 when we went into Alberta with an entirely new coaching staff. So it sounds like your team is used to this whole thing.
For sure. A little bit in how you frame it, but he's exactly right. I mean, there's been so many changes in the Can West this year that we really didn't know what we're walking into a couple weeks with not only week 1 in Alberta with a whole new coaching staff and new coordinators, and then week 2 in Manitoba with, or week 2 at home, we had UBC, and they had new offense and defense coordinator. And then week 3, I think it was, we went to Manitoba, and they got a new head coach, and so it's for sure. I mean, there's always going to be newness to it. I think that for us, it's just when you get to your core and your fundamentals, is that's the stuff that's going to set you over. And again, that focus and that mindset is just key.
Scott Flory is the head coach of the U of S Huskies. They're competing for a Vanier Cup title. 2 more quick ones for you, Coach. First, you hear often that we just need to be physical, and your team seemingly has taken that to a new height. And I asked one of your players about that, and that was the first thing they said. The difference is going to be just us being physical. And the player I asked was a receiver, Daniel Wiebe. How does that happen?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, I think if you look at the game and the way the game, to me, should be played. It's a physical game. This game is not for everybody. It is not a contact. It's a collision sport. There are massive collisions out there. And if you're not prepared to do that, be it a receiver, be it a DB, I mean, I tell those guys all the time, there's going to be 6 or 7 times in the game where you're going to have to, get a nip of courage and go in there and put your face into something and sacrifice your body and put it on the line. And that's just the way the game is, and that's the way it has to be played. And it's not for everybody. And that has been a staple of this program for the last 100 years, and we firmly believe that. There's a physicality level that we have to play with, that is an edge, and that we're gonna hit tomorrow. I've often said for years now, I mean, I don't know if we're gonna win or lose. We're gonna play our butts off, but they will feel us. There's no doubt about it. They will feel us.
University of Montreal, what do they possess, or what do they pose as a challenge for you tomorrow?
Man, they're a good team. They're long, lean, they're athletic. They've got really good structure. They're very well coached. I got a ton of respect for their head coach, Marco Adialuca, and their whole staff. I mean, they know what they're doing. They're a good football team. I wouldn't expect, they wouldn't be in the Vanier Cup if they weren't. So it's going to be a slugfest, no doubt about it. It's limiting mistakes and taking those opportunities when you get it to make those plays.
Coach, if I could make one more request before we let you go. Again, everybody in Saskatchewan is pulling for your quarterback, Anton Amandroud. If you wouldn't mind passing along our best wishes to him and his family and everything that they're going through. And again, I thank you for your time.
No, thanks, Dave. And just on that note, I just obviously it's been, number one, trying for Anton this last week and a half here. And then obviously the team and just the relationships that he has with this group. But the football community in Saskatchewan is second to none. The amount of emails and support that we've got, the university stepped up, and everybody in Saskatoon and everybody in the whole province, the Saskatchewan Roughriders and everybody. It's a common tie that binds, and we really appreciate that, the whole greater football community and the greater community itself of the province of Saskatchewan. That's why we love it here.
Coach, best of luck tomorrow, and go get them.
Thanks, Dave.